Good afternoon, everyone. I'm seeing only five students. I know we already started late, so I apologize for the late start. But we would not stay too long, and I don't want to wait much longer as well. All right. So, in reviewing, we are going to review your business plan, the business plan that everyone did, and your second in-course assignment, and any other topics that you all want to discuss as part of a final review for your exam, your final exam. So how was anybody want to share how was exams yesterday? How was it yesterday? I know we had some internet issues and students got a 2 hour extension. Stressful. Anybody else? Yes, Samantha C. I saw stressful. I know everybody was stressed out and worried. But from what I have recalled, everyone submitted on time. All right, so let us go straight into it. So for your business plan, um, as expected, I know most students would have simply followed exactly from the example that was in. Everything has been stressful lately. Yes, Kavita P, I understand everything has been stressful lately. This year is actually a very stressful year. And wouldn't you believe we are going to be seeing um, Jupiter and Saturn in the night sky? I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Who knows, right? It's 2020. So don't worry, guys. I mean, yes, stress is all part of it. Nobody wants to have to give you all more stress than you need to, but stresses are going to be normal parts of your everyday life. Um, I know that I would have tried my best to not add any stress to you all. You all know when the exams were coming on up front, so I tried my best to facilitate the other lecturers with getting your rotations done. So, right, so let's go. So, as I was saying, most of the students followed the example in class, and um, and that was fine. I mean, I expected that, but in terms of the content, when we asked the question, when the question was asked specifically about doing up your business plan uh, in giving full consideration for the COVID-19 pandemic, I was looking at, of course, specific considerations for COVID-19. I had a more detailed rubric. I don't know if I have it. Just let me see if I have it on this laptop here. But somehow on that pen drive, it's not seem to. Mm, You all can shoot any questions from here, or if you have anything that you want to ask one time. Oh, here it is. Right. This is actually okay. So, in your business plan, in your business plan, location analysis was important. Location analysis in terms of spending power. Now, if you notice the question, it was a very specific question. Well, I, I tried to be as specific as I could be. In an identified location, that's one, and two, given full consideration to the ongoing pandemic. The identified location would have given me someone who know most of Trinidad and Tobago pretty well, fairly well, um, so that I can be able to now be analytical when I'm looking at your business plan to make sure it is making sense that to ensure that it isn't just it isn't just pure fiction. I know sometimes you might want to use some fictional stuff to bolster your case, but it needed to be grounded in some reality as well. So that's why I asked for specific locations. And there were several persons. Oh, I want to say off the bat, I don't know. Let me see. Is Brittany and Alyssa online? Brittany George, Alyssa George, Brittany George and Alyssa George. I'm not seeing them. I don't know. Are you all here? Let me pull up your grades here because there were some students who mm, Alyssa and Brittany George, you all not here? Well, I just wanted to say that you all had a really nice introduction. And that too, that executive summary in your business plan, it is meant to be very similar to like an elevator speech or like a pitch. It's meant to give some excitement to the person reading the plan, or at least to give the person reading the plan a fair picture of how you as the person would have analyzed the situation and your plans going forward. So for the business plan, I'm seeing here I can sort this according to business plan. All right. So as you will see, very generous with this business plan marking. Alyssa George and Brittany George, right? As I said, I liked the introduction. Um, there was some other students that had some nice executive summaries that I wanted to make mention of as well. Um, but I don't know something about Brittany's and Alyssa's executive summary really stood out to me, and I really liked it. So I just wanted to make that point to you all so that they can they can feel good to know that it was appreciated. So with your one, right, so your location analysis, I was looking for if you were able to ascertain the spending power of the population, how much um, how much income the average household or the average family has in that particular area that you would have chosen. There are different areas of any country that have persons of a particular socioeconomic bracket. And based on that, how are you now going to tailor your business to suit the population that you are now going to be addressing and dealing with? Um, the population density. There are some areas of the country that would have a lot more persons in a smaller area. The density of it is a thicker density than other areas that are more widespread and people may need to travel far distances to get to your business place. All of these things are factors that I was looking at in location analysis. Um, the cultural norms. Um, some again, some communities have a particular culture. They have, and that culture now also influences their spending patterns and their spending type and the things that they are more they gravitate to. And specifically about actual geographical location, I was looking for if it is you had any idea of the foot traffic volume, the vehicle traffic volume in your specific location that you identified. Um, Also, if there's an ease of access to your business, if there's parking, is it difficult to navigate to your business on any given day? How does your business now pivot from other businesses, whether be it banks, groceries, hardwares, general stores, restaurants? All of those other businesses can serve as a pivot for yours to be able to enhance your business as well. And visibility, simple, plain old visibility, as in where you can physically see the location of your business. And even if you can't physically see the location, that there are other signs or other things that the potential customer could see to be able to find and locate your business. Are we good so far? And for the pandemic considerations, I wanted you all to discuss or take in consideration the new spending ability of the population that you've chosen. How much have they been affected by the pandemic? Um, how how much of them are working? How much of them lost jobs? How much of them gained jobs? Right? So all of those things would be specific to the pandemic. Now, your startup costs to create a business during a pandemic, was it going to require more money? Would it require less money? How much money you want to be investing in stuff in a pandemic, in a time when there is generally economic downturn? I wanted you to show that you appreciate or you are aware that we are in an economic downturn, and if you think your business plan can survive having an initial injection of capital that is a lot to be able to turn over. As the next point I'm coming up to, your stock levels. What stock levels do you think you were going to need for your new business? What is your turnover forecast? All right, are we good so far? Stop me if there's any questions there. Um, and what essentially would be your attraction in a COVID-19 pandemic? What value are you now bringing to the market? If there are, let's just say, for example, we have over 250 pharmacies in the country, and you are now going to create another one. What added value are you going to bring to the to Trinidad and Tobago market, or to the particular localized market in your location where you are planning to open? And finally, what contingency plans are there? What contingency plans have you put in place for for things not going according to plan? As we always talk about contingency planning, plan A, plan B, plan C. If things don't go this way, what are we going to do? Are we going to pack up? Are we going to change the strategy? Are we going to change business altogether? What are we going to do? So those are the many things that I was looking at in your business plans and see if it was there. But I know most of you would have followed pattern from the example that was given. So maybe next time we would look for something a little more challenging in terms of getting students' ability to develop a business plan. Good. All right. Any questions so far? That was your business plan. So let me say off the bat. So for those who need to take a bow for good business plans, or actually for scoring high marks, and there were so many of you who got high marks in this one. Um, Katrina, Alicia, Biana, Nishad, Geeta, Alyssa, Videsh, Nicolette, Melissa, and Brittany. Also Caleb and Victoria. So those of you, take a bow. You all had you all had some good stuff, and you all led the way with respect to the business plans. All right. So far, no questions so far. All right, great. Next, now we have your second in-course exam. And question one was discuss the phrase "don't be a commodity" as it relates to branding and explain how this applies in a COVID-19 context. So, a commodity is something that anybody could buy anywhere. It doesn't have any real difference. People buy it based on price and location. And when we were discussing in class, don't be a commodity. We spoke about becoming an experience, becoming a brand. Now, this question was a branding question. It was meant to lead you into branding, and because I actually put branding in there, right? Good. So I wanted students to talk about the concept of being an experience, of becoming a brand, either individually or or a business itself becoming a brand. How do you now influence your customers' perception? A brand is a name, as an identity, it's a sign, it's a symbol or a design that helps identify a particular product with a particular company. And we all know about many different brands that you can recognize off the bat because of their symbol. We have many, there are many sports athletic brands we can recognize. Under Armour, we can recognize Adidas, we can recognize so many different brands that you can think of right now that, yeah, yeah, easy to identify. And getting into branding some more, brand reputation, brand recognition, and recall and uniqueness. All of these things um, enable you to not become just a commodity, but actually a brand, which is an experience. All right, I hope you all are following. Just double check if there are any questions. No questions, right? So the idea was become an experience, become a brand, let customers now align you with a particular product, a particular quality. Um, and I wanted also some persons to mention the 4 P's of marketing, and how the 4 P's of marketing can also come into play in terms of product positioning. So that was the direction I wanted you all to go with that question. Some of you all did, some of you all didn't. Um, So I was hoping that most of you would have at least mentioned the word experience, or becoming a brand, or becoming. It's not just about making a purchase, but about giving a customer an experience. All right. So in the business that we're in, we're pharmacy people. You can come and buy Panadol anywhere, but it's the experience you get in buying that Panadol. As simple as it sounds, and as stupid as it sounds, um, that interaction that you may have, that your staff may have with your potential customer. I remember I always talk about you might be the manager, but your staff is the one that's interacting with your customer, that's making the magic happen, and that's important because that's the experiences that these people are going to get, that your customers are going to get when they leave the door, and they're going to reflect on it. Was the experience good? Was it bad? All right, and all of that now identifies you as different, identifies you as a, and we usually would product to generally mean your business, your service, whatever you do, that people will want to come back for that. The same way people like Cadbury chocolates, the same way people like Starbucks. I know a lot of you spoke about Starbucks in your examples. Um, so I hope you all appreciate where we was heading at with respect to this question. And lastly, and how does this apply in a COVID-19 context? Now, brands in a COVID-19 context, many customers are looking towards their favorite brands or their brand to look and see what they are doing in terms of customer safety, their staff safety, corporate social responsibility. Um, so they are looking to see how emotional intelligence is playing out with their brands, and to see how their brands maybe how their brands are now responding to this coronavirus pandemic. If they can have a role, what role are they playing? Right. So that's where I was going at with this question. And the second question was explain the importance and significance of applying the balanced scorecard management tool during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, I want to say I was a little disappointed with some of you who did not lay out the balanced scorecard in the order in which it's supposed to be done. Some of you did, but I found that there was too much of persons that started from financial and went down to learning and growth. And I know that that's what you may have seen on some sites, and yes, it is acceptable, but remember that it builds the organization builds on learning and growth, and it is a certain direction it goes up. All right. So, right. So we specifically were looking at each of the four perspectives of the balance scorecard. There are four perspectives: the learning and growth, the internal business processes, customer, and finally financial. So first of all, we want to ensure that your staff they're well trained and they're well aware of the pandemic, its causes, its safety issues, and what safety measures ought to be in place as a result of the pandemic. Um, your staff is always updated on new information. They are retrained to perform their jobs within a new safety framework based on a risk assessment that ought to be done. All right, so risk assessment is a big thing that is happening in all organizations as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Secondly, your internal business processes. How are your SOPs being right? Are your SOPs, your standard operating procedures reviewed to ensure that adjustments are made that are in line with the new requirements, but fixed along an efficient and effective mandate? So the internal business processes must be adjusted to new standard operating procedures, to the new protocols that exist, to the new way of us doing business within a COVID-19 pandemic. But it still must be efficient and effective because that's what management is about. Not so achieving the organization's goals in an effective and efficient manner. And thirdly, your customers. You need to, and yes, customer satisfaction is paramount, very important. But your customers might be having new needs now. We need to ascertain what those new needs are and how do we satisfy these new needs that your customers have. You may have new customers as well. All right. So your product or your service should be done within a context of convenience and of course for peace of mind and less anxiety. So that's the customer part of the balance scorecard. And lastly, ensuring that the bottom line is met. And right now, sustainability is at the very least what all organizations and businesses are trying to do. They are only they are only trying to get, if any at all, very minimal or very modest profitability. Traditional organizations, that's what they're faced with. And I want to say that also giving an appreciation and hoping that you all have an appreciation as well that there are companies such as we mentioned in class, Facebook, and within recent times, Tesla, and within even more recent times, companies that are based on artificial intelligence that are increasing in revenue right during this period. So whilst majority of organizations are just trying to make ends meet, they're trying to be sustainable, there are organizations that are actually flourishing. And Not because of sanitizer and masks and stuff. Yes, those things are there, but for other reasons. All right. Um, good. So, and all of this, all of these, all of the application of the balance scorecard is being done for, at the very least, for the for the sustenance and the existence of your business. Businesses right now and organizations right now just need to be able to sustain themselves and survive. If at all there is a possibility, look for the opportunity within the crisis to create a new revenue stream, and and that would take an intelligent workforce. It would take a high performing team to be able to pick up on new trends that can now be new revenue streams. And this point reminds me of what I said in class about what Mr. Ali Baba said, Jack Ma. When people start to worry, there is opportunity. Okay? So that was the review of your second in-course exam. Any questions on anything so far? And let me just do the data sort for the second in-course. Second in-course, right. Any questions? No questions? Right. So for the students who did well in this second in your second in course, Biana, Tikabau, Victoria, Precious, Caleb, and Shakila. Well done. All right, you all top the class in this second in course. And finally, now that I have, so everyone got their 5% free marks. Um, and I have tabulated all of the grades, all of your in-course grades, including attendance. So that I am ready to start correcting or getting ready to correct your exam. So, ladies and gents, that's it. I'm not seeing any conversations happening here. I'm only seeing 9 of you. That's all right. I know it's very stressful these days. Are there any questions for me? Are there any concerns for me? Any queries? Oh, your final exam. Let me see. Take a look at your final exam here. Your final exam, right? All right. Yes. Yes. Right. So your final exam has questions. It's 5 questions, and it is examining every. Let me see. Make sure it looks at everything. No, small business. All right. I'm chapter 7 now. All right. So from chapter 7 up, will be covered in this final exam. I would still encourage persons to review all of your lectures and you make your points as lucid as possible, be as cogent as possible, write as write as sensibly as possible. Please use 1.5 spacing and a nice readable font. 1.5 spacing, please. Right. So that's it. That's it. Um, that's it for the review. I'm still waiting on questions from anyone. Nobody have any questions. I want to get straight into the INSTI review. So, well, the INSTI review is due for 2 o'clock. So that just gives me 4 minutes, right? All right, guys. So if there are no questions, I bid you all whoever I'm not seeing in a few minutes, goodbye. It has been a pleasure, and I will be correcting and grading your exams, Diana. Hmm. Diana, you're not easy enough. I said yes. From chapter 7 up is being covered in the final exam, but remember, chapter 1 is also, the first lecture is also very important. All right? You want to reduce as much reading as is possible. All right. I did say from chapter 7 up. Look up, pulling up chapter 6 now just to confirm with you that what anything coming from. Right. So yeah, so small business startups is chapter 6, and that's just stages of business growth and so yeah, so um, right, so yeah, so from chapter 7 up, but still have a look at chapter 1, well the first lecture as well. All right. So that's it. So long, farewell. Wish you all the very best, and I'll see most of you in a few minutes. Okay? Good luck and all the best. It was a pleasure teaching you all, and I look forward to seeing and meeting some of you in the working world out there. All right, take care.